What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Triangle. This is your boy, D.
Oh my God.
Is this our news angle?
I just got thrown off. Hey, it's your girl, CJ.
Are we doing the news?
I know, we're doing a regular topic first. There we go. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, girl.
So now that D's thoroughly confused me further, to focus on something more serious, because I know with all the stuff going on in Australia, it's really been throwing me off. And I've been doing my research and I've been looking at stuff, but I know CJ knows it all. So I'm going to ask her. But D, if you know the answer, you can help me too.
I don't know it all.
Dead ass. Does anybody know how kangaroos fuck?
Bro.
Like, are they just jumping in and out of pockets? Like, kaga. Like, how does that?
Well,
why isn't anybody thinking about that? We're worried about it raining and forest burning.
I mean,
because that tail is kind of low.
Have you seen a kangaroo? Hold up. Are kangaroos even real? Have you seen one? Have you seen one mate? Huh? Where they come from?
They're marsupials.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Same thing.
They pocket mate.
Yeah, they pocket mate.
Same thing with the what they say, the Vandross, Luther Vandross. Where's the rest of the Vandrosses?
No, not the Vandross.
I put how do K, and the first thing that popped up was kangaroo's mate.
Oh no. See? What does it say? Now I'm curious.
What the fuck? Whoa. Kangaroos live in mobs. They're called mobs. So a group of kangaroos.
That's because they be fighting people.
They live in mobs of 10 to 100 females.
Oh.
Each female has a different reproductive cycle. So breeding males are busy. Oh wait, it's like ...
So
I hate these little summaries that they give you.
Mm.
Hold on, we gotta figure this shit out.
We really do.
This shit's fucking my mind up.
Why I look like?
And why is this kangaroo caressing? So I pull up this article, and this kangaroo is caressing the other kangaroo's face.
I mean,
like they're about to really.
You gotta ease in. You can't.
At least he knows about some prep work. You just can't jump in.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be like on it. I mean, who we talking to? D be grabbing our titties off. So
listen, D said, get over here.
Get over here.
So fucking terrible. No, D, keep looking it up because I'm seriously curious.
I'm gonna try to find it. Oh, they do it. Yeah, they definitely do it.
Oh yeah, like a normal.
Do they push the tail to the side?
Oh,
what the fuck is going?
They push the tail to the side.
How in the fuck? Oh, they get it from the side.
Oh,
that is very strange.
What?
They get it from the side.
I couldn't see them on top of each other, and then behind each other wasn't working for me. So I'm like, how does this work?
It's behind each other, but they pull it to the side. Pull the panties to the side.
Hey.
Wow. I was just gonna say that, but he beat me to it. He beat me to it.
Kangaroo me, baby.
Viewer discretion is advised.
We not safe for work anyway. Oh, they like really in it.
Oh, they're animals. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And now that we learned how kangaroos.
I'm Brandy. I'm gonna ask the questions you've been dying to.
Ain't nobody asked that question. As a matter of fact, let me see if Instagram had answered any of our questions, because I feel like people want to know stuff, but we'll do it again.
I feel like I'm closer to that serial killer that CJ was saying, because I just looked at how I did my oranges, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna let you see it.
Let me see.
Hold on. I don't want to mess
this. This is disturbing.
I have an orange story as soon as you get done showing this.
Why? Why do you have them laid out?
I don't know. I just did.
Fucking serial killer.
Me and D are concerned. I don't know if you can see our faces.
It's been a lot
I did it so quickly, and then when I did it and I looked down, I was like, why did I do that?
There's a lot of weird orange stuff happening lately. Let me tell you what I saw today at work.
Uh-oh.
So I'm standing in the lobby of where I work, and they're about to decorate for Chinese New Year.
Oh, yes.
So they have like an actual, like a Mekong tree or a tangerine tree.
Tangerine tree. I was just going to translate for you.
That they're pushing through the lobby because they're like putting it in the VIP section to decorate it and make it look nice and whatnot.
Right.
They're pushing the decorative tree, which happens to be real, but it's obviously a decoration. This random guest walks up to the tree, pulls a tangerine off of the tree.
Yes.
And bites into it like a fucking savage. Not even, doesn't peel
Like it's
it.
an
Wait.
But bites into it like it's a fucking biscuit or some shit.
He didn't peel it?
No, he took it off and just bit into the shit. I said, what the fuck kind of fucking savage are you? Who the fuck does that with a tangerine?
The peel is not appetizing unless you're making
Not at all.
candied orange peels or something.
Or if
like,
you're gonna use it when you're doing drinks.
yes.
Yeah.
I like
a
when
garnish
people
or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Not wholeheartedly. No, maybe
And he
it's
bit into it.
maybe
I was
it
waiting
is a
for it to
weird
stop.
thing because y'all just real quick, y'all see like the orange box Beyonce sent to what's her face?
My God, orange everything. Yeah,
Yes.
she's I didn't get mine yet.
I know. I'm waiting to.
I'm still waiting.
We're still waiting.
I'm not gonna pay for it. So I'm waiting.
It's everything Adidas, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like 80% of the shit was ugly. There were 3 outfits where I was like, ooh, I would
That
kill
sweater
that
thing with the sleeves was
Wasn't
cute.
it
What the hell are you guys talking about?
Oh, what you D,
Oh my
you're the worst
God.
gay. You're the worst gay.
You are the absolute worst gay. You're pointless
What's happening? What's going on?
Okay, so Beyonce sent is it Reese Witherspoon? No.
gay. She sent everybody but us boxes
Yeah,
of
she
her.
sent
Adidas,
people like these orange
all of her celebrity
boxes.
friends. So they
full
could
of
like basically do
the-
advertisement for her.
Yeah, she's doing advertisement for the new Adidas line, and she sent it to like her little celebrity friends, and everything in it is basically orange and like this maroon color that's in it. And the box is like this big ass orange box. I'm talking like it's I don't know, probably like a 10-foot by like 2-foot. I'd be 5
It's
foot
huge.
thing.
It's brilliant marketing.
It is, and like I watched the whole thing with old girl in it, and they have really cute stuff. Some of it's cute, some of it's like, it's regular sporting
Yeah,
wear.
80% of it. And then you don't have anything in black. How you don't have stuff in black?
I don't know. I think that was their. I think that might be the color of the year for athletics, because
Orange or black?
The orange and the ruby-ish like red.
Is the new black?
I'm done. Oh my God, I can't. Okay, did we get all of this out? We good? Can we move on to the real topic?
Yes, the real topic.
Oh wait, I lied. Before we get into the real topic, this is a segue into it. No, because I have some people coming at me because some people love their Justin Timberlake and other people we mentioned.
Oh yes.
Yes. I got some feedback.
People were hurt last week.
The way, and then like I've said, if y'all listened to the last post, I am a huge NSYNC fan. I was rocking Justin's stuff today cleaning because Tunnel Vision is one of the best records I've ever heard in my life. Listen to it, it's bomb. However, I said what I fucking said.
I said.
Changing my mind. Y'all better be glad I forgot to add Justin Bieber.
Oop.
So leave me alone.
Leave Brandy alone.
So, Lexi, if you're watching this episode, Lexi did. She didn't really have a rebuttal. She was just kind of like, she understands what Brandy was talking about.
Yeah.
But her thing was, she feels like, let me try to represent Lexi as best as I can right now.
Before she gets shut down.
Right. I had some beer. But yeah, she was saying like, certain people, they grew up. Huh?
She was?
I'm Lexi. She's like, some people grew up and that's all they knew. That's all they, I guess if you grew up in a society where everybody that you look up to musically is black, that's kind of all you really know.
I really wish that was the case.
Say that.
I want to say I really wish that was the case, but I know for a fact that he was in the Mickey Mouse Club. So
I will say this.
That negates her theory because
because when Justin, if my memory doesn't fail me, because again, I was obsessed with NSYNC, so you'd watch the interviews and everything else. So when you would say, I was, like, you don't understand, but my fave was JC, but that's another thing.
Oh.
So
Chaz's.
Right, never knew his last name, so I wasn't marrying him, was I? Anyway, he would say stuff like he liked Prince and he liked Michael Jackson, and he'll mention other people, but I kind of feel like, at least for me, you're mentioning people that everybody in the industry pretty much says is a musical influence for them. it's not like you're like strictly, hey, you know, Angie Stone, BB King, the like really hitting people that didn't get commercial success. Michael and Prince were to the point where, and I hate this phrase, but people weren't seeing color. You know what I mean?
It's true though.
Like,
everybody knew who they were.
Yeah, like you can play Prince anywhere, you play Michael anywhere, everybody's gonna get down. But to me, when you start rocking with artists where you look at somebody who's not black, like what you know about so and so. Like, what you know about Anthony Hamilton? What you know about these other artists that weren't the commercial ones you're used to? Because a lot of you guys end up only knowing 3 or 4.
Listen, a good test of this is walking up to your little friends and asking them somebody who, like, I don't know. Oh, like, ask them if they know who Tank is. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Even with actors and actresses,
he's up there enough in our society, in our Black society. Tank's shows would sell out for us, but if you took it to a white community, it would not sell. Don't nobody know who the fuck Tank is, right?
And it's unless they are commercial. Because I will say, when I went to Bryson Tiller, who is a phenomenal young artist, and he is big. Bryson Tiller.
Oh, okay.
His first album was bomb. A couple of years ago, it came out. So when you're dealing with these younger kids, and I'm talking under 25, not that we're old, because I don't feel like we're old, but compared to these ones
we old as fuck.
That are 19 and 25, we're old, right? So in comparison, that crowd, because of social media and everything else, they're really bringing out these white kids and other people together in droves. Because when I went to his concert twice, 90% of the audience was white, and them niggas was saying nigga. So I'm like, okay, white people will buy the albums, white people will go to the concerts, and that also gets into a money thing too, because a lot of times, like, who got the money to go to Coachella this or do that, you're not gonna see a lot of us there for a whole
anything we could get. That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother thing economically. But saying all that to say, I feel where you're coming from, Lexi, if you are listening, but I'm still like, nah, fuck that shit. I definitely feel like
welcome to the Triangle Podcast.
The majority of them are profiting off of something they just really don't understand. And I also feel like because they get the cosign from the big dogs up top that are of color, when you have Pharrell and Timbaland producing your album, when you're doing duets with Beyonce, when you got her husband on your track too, shit, no one could tell me shit if I was Justin either.
Right.
Like they didn't say anything about it. Why are you complaining about it?
And like, you know, if to Lexi's point, if she's saying that that's all he knew and that's all he wanted to do, that album Man in the Woods just came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't sound like anything he would have made if those are the answers to his question about him being, you know, appropriation or not. You know what I mean?
Playing devil's advocate. What if that was an industry thing too? The whole Man in the Woods approach. What if they're like, oh, since you're getting older now and you're growing out that man scruff, you're looking like you're from Tennessee.
Oh, you know we believe in that.
Huh?
It could be.
No, we're agreeing with you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like, you know, so they would think like, okay, you might be more attractive, or you might be able to build an audience with maybe a whole nother, because you already have this audience over here. So now if you switch up your look, you switch up your style, you can gain so many more.
Or to flip what Dee just said, so what about the industry thing actually being the albums that were successful and the Man in the Woods was really Justin? And that shit ain't right. Now you got to go back to the industry formula. Yeah. You're the white Black boy and they accept you like this, and we don't accept everybody like that.
I feel like
that. He gotta do that style from now on.
Kind of like what happened with Pink. Remember Pink's first album?
Yeah, Pink's was.
I thought Pink was mixed. I didn't think she was.
I literally thought she was light skinned.
But Pink was my girl. So with Pink, it's the same thing. Pink was backwards, right? She had to do what the industry wanted her to do.
And she even talked about it after.
And yes, she did. Yeah. And then she finally got to do what she wanted to do. And of course, her fan base dipped quite a bit for a minute.
But she's phenomenal.
But she came back strong because then she believed in what she wanted to do and kept doing what she wanted to do and stopped singing R&B and hip hop. She just did what she wanted.
And she's one of the ones I can respect for that shit, because she already knew. She even said recently she was so high the day of that video shoot for There You Go, that Dave Meyers shot, that he would ask her, like, could you slow down on smoking the blunts? Like, trying to have your eyes open. But I can understand, not only if you're just nervous, but you're turning into a whole nother bitch you really don't want to be. And it's not your steez, and you don't want to do another album like this, but they're saying, hey, You're not going to be the Britney, because we already got a million blonde girls right now.
Right.
You're going to be a little hip hop white girl. Like, what's up? You want to do this or not? You want this record deal or not? And another
friend, they show you that check, you like, God damn.
Listen. So my homegirl, Bestie Candace, who's probably not going to hear this one, but if she does, I'm just saying hi so I don't get in trouble. She was writing hard when we were going back and forth about this in our break room in front of other people who were just entertained. And then I plugged our podcast after everybody was looking. I was like, I'm glad I can entertain y'all for lunch. But she was like, basically on the side of the artist, in the sense of they're just doing what they have to do to get paid. I do the same thing. And I'm not saying I don't understand that. Mm-hmm. I'm coming from more of a Prince aspect of take your power in your voice back. And if it's really about the music, you're not going to give a damn about the money and the fans and all the rest of that. If it's about you 100% being true to yourself and expressing yourself properly. But if it's not, you will go ahead and you'll sell out, but you won't seem like a sellout.
I'll sell out at first until I get my coins. Then I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna do me.
Well, that's the thing, and that's why I have an issue with the JT thing, because either way you look at it, I think he's so well established at this point in the industry that he has choices. I think that a lot of artists don't, because of where he's at, like just money wise, fame wise. You know what I mean? Like
which is probably where Man of the Woods come from, but. Considering what you're known for and what you've done so well, and then we'll get off of Justin's nuts. Considering what you've done so well, you don't get to leave the Krabby Patty formula. This shit's worked out fine. Mm-hmm. You have to be the black white boy. That's your niche. That's your bread and butter. That's where all type of races support you. And real talk, the music's fucking great. So stick with what you're doing and your career will be fine. You don't get to have these moments like Beyonce, perfect example, who decided, I'm done kind of doing the pop thing. I'm going to go super pro-black and I'm so fucking untouchable. Y'all ain't going to do shit but buy it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I had a girl Saturday raving about brown skin girls because she was like, I love the song so much and blah, blah, like Beyonce's fucking untouchable. You know,
I mean, because people really were upset after she did that Baychella. Like, people were really upset. Well,
what did she do?
Well, she brought in the HBCU stuff and she made it like super Black Lives Matter.
Everything was so black, it's not even funny.
Very black.
She was doing skits from school
days. But that
was
what she was doing at that time. So.
But what I'm saying is the people who were upset, obviously, some of the caucasity that was in there was just basically like, that wasn't for us. But she was basically like, none of this has ever been for you. Like, this was for me to step up and be able to bring back shit for my people. And then people got upset about it. And I'm just like, well, y'all do it like day in and day out. I'm about to post this thing I saw.
Everybody does shit. You know what I'm saying? It's across the board.
Beyonce to do it to that level, and then we'll get off of Beyonce's titties. For Beyonce to do that at this stage in her career, she is almost 40. Mm-hmm. And she had to wait till now to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? She had to really establish, I'm the girl. I'm the good, basically I'm the perfect house nigga in the industry. Like, I'm perfect. You'll like me on Oprah. You'll like me on Ellen. I'll sing these little songs for y'all. I'll be a L'Oreal commercials with whole wigs on talking about hair dye. And these people
in Spanish. Have you seen her do it in Spanish? That shit is crazy. I was like, what?
I was like, huh?
But like, that's the deal, though. That's the deal you cut for like the support and like being able to grow.
She had to do, and then was like, nah, I'm good. I don't have to anymore.
It's like what I'm sure all of us have been told, and if you haven't, I don't know, but most POC people, especially kids back in our day, maybe even before that, get told you got to work 10 times harder to get where they're at, right?
Yeah. And this is a perfect time to slide into actually talking about what the fuck we said.
Yes, today's main topic was not JT or Beyonce. Right. It was actually Martin Luther King, because we're recording on Martin Luther King Day today.
Oh yeah, please don't roll over, sir. We
Martin Luther the King.
The King. The King. I know the Instagram and Facebook that we've been posting a few things about his death. It's things surrounding his death and a few other things. But I already saw people who were like, oh, this is a conspiracy theory. The government had nothing to do with it. Like, I don't know if you guys went back and read my rebuttal to that. is like, I know. First of all, Dr. King did a whole bunch of stuff. I hope that everybody is aware of what he did for the country and our society. I don't know.
You would like to think, but
I would like to think, but also I remember that we only got a couple paragraphs in our history books. So
I mean, on top of that, I think what ends up happening is you take one thing that's really easy to remember somebody for, whether it's true or not, and then you're like, this is why we have a day off. It's almost like Columbus discovered America, we get the day off. Martin Luther King, I had a dream speech, we get the day off.
Right.
It's nothing going into, he kind of had a moment like, maybe this wasn't the best idea with this whole marching and segregation and everything. Like, we don't get to hear all the details, but that's when you have to end up doing your own research, like we always say here on the Triangle, and then teaching your kids things that you didn't learn. Because we only end up learning so much about this day, or even for Black History Month. We learn and we're told what they want you to know. And I honestly, somebody had asked, after I had posted that meme that said, like, we have Martin Luther King Day because y'all chose him, because somebody was like, why don't we have like a Malcolm X Day? And he was like, well, he was like,
oh my God, I was gonna post that.
There is a Malcolm X Day, but it's just not.
God.
No, it's not it's not a recognized holiday.
D, don't be that white person at the water cooler right now, okay?
It's just like,
oh my God, you gonna really do me like that though?
don't be that person.
No,
there is a day.
We do
Malcolm X Day, but
it's not
I feel
recognized.
like it should be recognized.
It's just like Juneteenth. It's not recognized. We recognize it.
Happy
they
that
don't.
A lot of Black people are starting to recognize Juneteenth.
Well, it's about damn time, and I think
damn time.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up. I want to say Philadelphia is going to make it an official holiday.
Oh, nice!
I think
that's really good.
I think, and I know that Texas talks about it, but it's not like recognized as a day off yet.
I know Texas, I saw more recognition in Texas than I have anywhere else.
There is. Yeah. There's a lot of festivities around Juneteenth.
A lot of festivities in Texas.
So speaking of Juneteenth,
yes.
I have a question then. D can start and then CJ can go from there.
Okay.
Since we basically went into this whole episode on how to be Black, so to speak, which I felt like was appropriate for Martin Luther King Day or his month. Take the whole month, sir. Do you find yourself, even if you don't mean to, kind of looking at other Black people a little crazy if they don't know as much as you do about certain Black facts? Because I felt some judgment before if someone says something, I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that. How could you not blah, blah? And I'm like, did I lose Black points? Like, what's going on? I mean, and that's the thing in our community for anybody who's listening who's not of color.
Yeah.
Or if you are and you never heard of it, people do. They're like, oh, give me your Black card. Or
I have a really good story for that, but I'll let D start. Go ahead, D.
Well, I'll just have like a quick one and I'll let you go. But it was I was at work a few years ago, and we're talking about a song. It was a neo soul song.
Okay.
And it was by Lettucey, but I always thought it was Jill Scott for some reason, because that whole genre kind of runs. People.
Yeah, they do.
I'm not saying everybody sounds the same, but everybody has a similar swag. So. Somebody was like, oh yeah, have you heard this song? And I was like, oh yeah, Jill Scott. They were like, it's Lettucey. How do you not know that's Lettucey? And I was like, oh no, I'm sorry. Like, I thought it was Jill Scott. And like, they kind of were joking after the fact, but I could tell that it kind of pissed her off a little bit that I didn't know it was Lettucey. She was like, how could you not know who Lettucey is? I was like, I know who Lettucey is, but I just didn't know that song was by Lettucey. Had no idea. So when it comes to songs and little stuff like that, are you speaking more on that? Or more like historic?
No, historic too. I mean, like as a whole, because I've had moments where I maybe questioned, like, how come you don't know this? But I wasn't judging a person. But I've had moments, especially when we came back to the States, where people were like, how do you not know this or that? Or even with music, I didn't really grow up a hip hop head. So when everybody,
I feel like we should get a pass because we were in a whole nother fucking country for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So we missed out on a lot of stuff that was going on here in the States.
Listen, they say there's no pass for us because there's whole Japanese people that can recite everything Tupac back and forth, and I can't. So they ain't gonna give us no pass, baby.
My brother's one of them.
Listen, I'm mean, Dan was.
He does. He was like all Tupac'd out. Like
Dan was rapping Tupac last night
it.
when we was going to bed, and I was like, "You need to stop all that." Like,
But it also depends on how you grew up too. Because I have an uncle that was big into rock, big into like Red Hot Chili Peppers and shit. Thing. So it's like, if that's my uncle, he's black. I grew up, in a house with this man. And
but I don't feel like you're less black for not doing that. But you know where I think that comes from, and I think CJ can really take this phrase and expand it. I think that comes from a history, and even now, of us not being allowed to be everything. We're not allowed to be multifaceted. We're not.
Right.
We have to be a certain type of black amongst black people and amongst whites.
Right.
Like we have to. Because anything outside of that is going to fuck up either side. And I think most people of color feel like I got to be this way with this group and this way with that group. How often are you 100% yourself all the time?
Yeah.
True.
It is. And Dee has a point too, being overseas, because I grew up with a lot of J-pop, you know what I mean? And being off base, I had a lot of that influence. And the only reason why I still listen to Al Green and people like that is because my dad listened to them. And if you're from overseas and you didn't get that influence from one of your parents or, grandparents living with you, then you probably didn't get any of it. And a lot of the Black history that I know now, even with MLK or Malcolm X or Harriet Tubman, even just everybody, Booker T. Washington, all those people we touched on in school and DOD, in our history books. But I feel like all my history, that I know, came from after I graduated. I don't think that even being overseas in the DOD education, so even with that, or being over here in the U.S. education system, I don't think anybody, or any textbooks rather, touch on Black history like that. Even during Black History Month, I mean, what did we really talk about? They really touched slightly on MLK.
Well, it's like they dragged over MLK again, and then was like Harriet Tubman, peanut butter.
That's exactly what I was thinking right now. It's like pulling fucking Christmas decorations, dusty ass Christmas decorations out of a closet. Yep. They're pulling all the Black history charts and shit and putting it up. Harriet Tubman. You see the same motherfuckers every fucking year.
And then
nothing against Harriet Tubman, but there were other people too.
For us to have a month, you would think it's like, can y'all at least highlight somebody I've never heard about?
No.
Each day?
Because they don't know about them. It was the same. It was the same 5 people, right? MLK, Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, if you're lucky, but most of the time
I had the same.
They usually didn't add that in. Rosa Parks, Booker T. Washington, and what is it?
The Peanut Butter Man, George Washington Carter.
George Washington Carter.
That's all you get.
Because even to your point of are you taken back if you don't know history? I'm not, obviously, because I had to research on my own. I do remember working at Flying J, and one of this guy, this old head, came through to get some gas. He was gray beard, Black dude, and he got gas, paid with it, and I looked down at the receipt, and his name said Booker T. Washington on it. He got his name changed legally. And I went over to my Black employee at the time, and I was like, look at this shit. He done changed his name. And she looked at it and went, who's that? And I was like, no, you don't know who Booker T. For a minute, I really was you don't know who Booker T. Washington is?
There's literally whole ass schools across the country named after him.
And I was
old schools, yes.
Old schools.
I can't be disappointed in her, though, because I know that the education has failed her. You know what I mean?
Wasn't that Mr. Hightower School, too?
What?
Was Booker T. Was that?
That
Boss Lady and them was that Booker T?
Boss Lady and them was that Booker T. The Cheetahs. It was the Cheetahs, wasn't it?
I think so. I'm done.
You know what? Martin Luther King would be very proud of us right now.
He would be very
making these connections.
All of it.
Doing the work he wanted us to do.
Mr. Hightower. What was the name? Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
No, that's not it. That's another one. What's up?
No, Hanging with Mr. Cooper was something else. You talking about the one with Steve Harvey.
No.
The Steve Harvey show.
Yeah.
I think it was just called that.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember having a name. Because The Parenthood was a different Black show.
Yep.
The Parenthood.
The Parenthood is on Amazon, by the way.
And it's on Amazon?
It's on Amazon, and it was so, okay, we're going to segue like we always do. I have to say, some shows do not hold up well with time. This show does. go watch the Parenthood, because the first episode
was good.
They tackled the issue of the dad talking to his like son who's like middle school, high school, and his son's friend who ends up having a crush on his daughter. But it was all fine and dandy for them talking like, yeah, you know, I was back in the day and I was getting these girls and blah, blah, blah. And he's hyping up the boys. And then when that little boy turns out to have a crush on his daughter, it was like, no, she can't go out past this time, blah, blah, blah. And his wife ate his ass up. And I'm like, good. Because I'm so tired of that narrative that men can just be out here sexually free and women can only do what the man allows.
That is a good show.
It's bullshit. But the Parenthood ain't bullshit. So go ahead, Amazon plug, watch that shit.
You know, speaking of shows.
Part of being black, how to be black, watch The Parent.
Watch The Parent. You know, speaking of shows, you notice that all of our shows are not like that anymore. And what I mean by they're not family oriented. They're not family friendly. Most of the shit that we're getting is like Empire. And I know you watch this, you watch Power. That's fine.
Love it.
I'm judging you silently.
No, King Tommy. I love you, baby.
But here's my thing, right? It's fine to have all those shows, but there's nothing countering it, really. There's no Family Matters. There's no Fresh Prince. There's no Sister. There's none of those things. Girlfriends. Like, my mind was blown when Girlfriends came out.
Tyler Perry did make, well, it's still out right now. And there's another show that Jill Scott, to what Demetrius mentioned her earlier, is also playing on, but it's like on BET Plus. So here's the thing. The shows are out there, but right now, drama is really what's like gonna get anybody's attention.
I think it's more of an audience thing. Like,
but
the audience ain't trying to see that right now.
Because I think we had more like maybe wholesome shows, because TGIF was such a big thing, and all of those shows shared the same narrative of a wholesome family, and it wasn't just the kid going off and having adventures like a lot of this shit on Disney Channel, and you're wondering where the fuck the parents are. This was the whole family in and out, a maid, an aunt, like everybody was in and out. It was like a society of people working together. CJ wasn't gonna get my ass for that shit. Not today, bitch. Not on MLK Day.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Like, I understand, but the only thing that's getting any kind of props right now on, like, from what I can see, and maybe it's my algorithm, like, I always get ads on TV for like Blackish, like something that's safe for everybody.
Wonderful, and it involves the whole family. So again, the show is out there, but to play devil's advocate against what CJ just complained about, again, Black people are not allowed to be multifaceted, because the first couple of seasons of Empire were phenomenal because it was ridiculous. But there's nothing wrong with having a show like Empire showing the fact that niggas can be crazy, and also
I agree
a
with
show
that.
like Blackish showing that we can be the doctors and we can have the good corporate jobs and we can have a whole family together. Everyone's going to college or has a decent job, dressed well, hair done, whatever you think we're not. We're that too, just like in any other society.
I think I was just tired of the characters in Empire. Like, because
most people got fatigued. Not gonna lie, I haven't watched the last 3 seasons.
I didn't watch it at all, because like just watching the first couple episodes, I was like, I'm already tired because those characters. No, seriously, to me, it's not for anybody else. In my opinion, I was already weary because all those characters were already played out in all the other Black movies that white Hollywood were okay with. And so for me, it was like, here we go again. Like, there's a crazy Black woman who's loud, and she's always loud because she's in power and she thinks she can do it. And that, like, that narrative right there. And then she has a crazy guy that she's in love with, not in love with. She's going to get back with him, not going to get back with him. You know, children involved.
I think, like you said, it's just a matter of us having enough of the other side shown. That way, when they are showing that cookie lion side, we're not so triggered.
Yeah, it's so one-sided right now.
We're quicker to tear down our own shows, even when they're up there, than white America is. Because people are like, I'm not watching it. They did it with Scandal. And I'm like, Kerry Washington is...
What was wrong with Scandal? I didn't watch it, but I didn't think anything was wrong with it.
I'm going to tell you what was wrong with it. That ending was shit. One.
I don't know what happened, but I believe you.
Trash. I was so upset. Other than that, it was everything you would want in like a stupid, crazy drama, twists and turns, all that stuff.
Now, okay, so just to say what I saw a lot of, is it because do you think she was getting it with a white dude? Do you think
absolutely? What are you talking about? Yeah, Absolutely, because when
So who was upset with that though? Because that shit happens.
When I would look at the comments, the majority of the people that I saw, and this does not mean it's the truth across the board. Don't come at me unless I send for you.
I didn't come for you.
Black men. I'm talking to the audience because folks be trying to be in the comments and be in the inbox. A lot of Black men were upset, but then I'm also like, well, majority of anybody that's starring in something Black in Hollywood, you're consistently almost matched up with a woman who isn't Black, or she's passing as mixed or white or something. It's very rare.
That's what my
you have somebody as dark as Viola Davis and Denzel Washington starring in a love story or an action or a comedy, or having someone like Lupita Nyong'o be the sexy girl that Tom Cruise is trying to pick up. We don't get that. Again, we don't get to be multifaceted. So I'm not trying to hear these niggas complain about that because
I'm with you.
And this is supposed to be.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you got.
This is supposed to like reenact real life. It's supposed to. This is a drama.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to mimic something that could actually happen. So shit like that really fucking happens all the time.
And Olivia Pope was a real bitch.
Right.
What's that?
I said Olivia Pope was a real bitch, like a real ass human.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that stuff, not all of it, because a lot of it was just for the TV, but they talked to her beforehand. I think she had a book out. But I'm just like, I'm not saying we need to settle. I know there still needs to be a push for diversity. I want to see Black men and women be represented in all, areas properly, and not just have it be, we're only loud, angry Black women, baby mamas, or gangsters, or we're, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be that. But I'm not mad at that. I just would like more of the other side of it. That way, then that can go into this whole, what it means to be Black, what you see that as, because media plays just a powerful part in what people think about something or someone. We've all seen it happen time and time again. In and out of politics, entertainment, you change how you felt about R. Kelly based off him doing a lot of fucked up shit.
Man.
And, all it took was a documentary and these girls speaking up.
I still ain't watched it, but we're about to. On that note, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we're back. Okay. So,
why y'all didn't tell me I look like a great value version of Erykah Badu right now? Y'all just not gonna tell me that?
Kroger brand Erykah Badu.
No, select private selection. Isn't that what Kroger has?
Private selection. Damn special. Wow. I wanted to plug some books really quick.
Yes, let's do it. Great books for
Great speeches by African Americans. It's really good. I'm pretty sure you can just pick it up on Amazon. Dr. Martin Luther King. In the book, Frederick Douglass, Barack Obama, Sojourner Truth, who actually has a plaque here and did her Ain't I a Woman speech here in Ohio. Things I didn't know until I moved here. I was like, one, didn't know who she was.
Right.
So there's that, again, with the teaching and everything else. And then this one is good for the kiddies or just for you to have, African Americans who shaped American history, because we did it all, folks.
I did not know Adolf Hitler was African American. Shut up. Front. That's it.
Get the fuck out of here. Nice.
So rude. So rude.
I think that's Duke Ellington.
The more you know.
Is it Duke Ellington?
I hope so. Because
I gotta figure it out. Hold on.
If you guys are not watching this, it's because Brandy picked up a book about 100 great African Americans in the middle picture.
Which is great to get.
D.
Good stuff to know.
I can't stand you.
It looks like fucking Hitler on the front.
Anywho, while Brandy is looking, there was something
I think I found him. I think. Is that Thurgood Marshall?
Adolf? Oh, that is Thurgood Marshall.
Yeah.
Thurgood Marshall?
Yeah, it is.
Wow. I hope his ghost fucks you up.
Yeah.
It's about to fuck me up in my sleep. I'm sorry.
I hope he fucks you up.
Baseball bats to the teeth. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh no,
he's gonna beat you with a book. I'm going to the Board of Education, bitch.
Oh, not the Board of Education. I'm through.
Okay, we're done.
Anyway, off task. Okay. Coming back. So we're talking about how to be Black. I think I mentioned it when we were discussing topics for this week that I actually was in Japan and found a book titled How to Be Black.
Did you buy it?
¿Cuánto ni?
Did you buy it for 100 yen?
Yeah, really. It was at the bookstore, and I picked it up because I saw the title. I was like, "This cannot be real." And I picked it up.
Where did you find it?
It was just at some random like book off or something, or bookmart or something that I was in because I was just shopping around for stuff. And I was actually in. I think I was closer to like the music section, so. So it was like hip hop history and things like that.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's about right.
Was this in English or was this in?
Oh, it's in Japanese. It was a Japanese book. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, and I didn't read it enough to see if it was like a translation of an American book or something like that. I don't know. I guess I should look it up and see. But it's just weird to me that there's books like that out there. There's no book called How to Be White. There's no.
I mean, to be fair, most books are white, so.
I mean, yeah, you're already systematically like, I don't know.
You know why there's not books? You know why there's not books, bitch?
Why,
because
bitch?
They have trained, yes, bitch. They have trained us. So feminists are probably like so mad listening.
I know, right?
They've trained us so well. We don't need to know how to be white.
Right.
Being white is survival. Being white is,
it's the status quo.
It's the status quo. It's the standard. It's being successful. We know what to do and what to say and how to change the cadence and our voice and everything. That's why there's not a book. They made sure we won't have to need no book.
Yeah.
They said, nigga, you want to live, you better act right. You see what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because if it ain't white, it ain't right. You better figure that shit out, motherfucker.
Pretty much.
You want these coins? You want these coins?
You want this money?
Figure this shit out.
You act like Amy. You act like Dylan. You don't act like you.
Not
then
Amy.
You better change your name. You better change your name to something somebody can pronounce. Look up what Kelly Rowland's real name is.
What is it?
Yeah, it's like Lindria or something like that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
She changed it?
She changed it.
I'm so
Because if it ain't white, it
Beyonce,
ain't right.
Beyonce got to keep hers though.
Because she's light skinned and it's exotic.
No, she
you see what I'm saying? If you're too dark, you can't have both.
No, that's true. Because
true.
Kelly would have been too black for the rest of the world, right?
Right.
It's too black.
Way too black.
I was watching this lady named Uzuomaka. I don't know her last name. I just remember that part because that was the name that she was. That's her name, and she's I think like a motivational speaker or somebody who's in the industry. And she was talking about when she was a kid and she came home to her mom, who is very African, she said. And she was like, Mom, I want to change my name. I'm giving you guys the paraphrase short story, but she was like, I want to change my name. And her mom, she was like, being African, she was like, like, what is it? And she was like, why? Your name is like beautiful. And she was like, can I just be called Zoe? Because she lived like in a white community. And she was like, nobody can pronounce my name right. The teachers can't, the kids can't, and they all make fun of me, blah, blah, blah. She was like, if white people can pronounce Tchaikovsky and all these other fucking names, then they can fucking say your name.
Think about all the made up superhero names. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
you can pronounce it. Don't make it easy for them. No.
And it was just so very irritating. It was very irritating for me too, because I have a middle name that's Japanese, that for people to be like, what is that? Can you say that's so hard? It's 6 fucking letters. And I broke it down for you. Like, and I know that it's easier to spell than Tchaikovsky. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I like for people to say their name. That way I don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Sometimes I've even said, because there's this French guy, he comes to the bar. Mm-hmm. And when he's talking or when he was saying his name, I said it and I was like, I feel like I just sound like a dumb American because when you say it, it sounds great. And he's like, you have to say it with the accent. I was like, and again, I don't want to offend sounding like a dumb American.
Right.
But I build that much rapport even when I'm at my first job. And I have people that I have to type it out because I'm in a call center for the company. And they'll be like, well, I'll just make it easier for you. And I'll tell them, no, you give me your name. You tell me how to say it.
And I will figure that shit out.
And I'll figure it out. Don't you shorten it because you're already doing enough over here to assimilate. You ain't got to do a person of color to person of color. You ain't got to do that with me.
You ain't got to do that. Because when I was in middle school, I went to school with this girl. Her last name was 22 letters long. She was Thai.
Okay.
You know how Thai people's last names could be outlandish. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's long.
Mm-hmm.
I made her write her name on my Trapper Keeper.
Trapper Keeper.
So I could practice it. I was like, write it. I gave her, you remember the Sharpies, the metallic ones?
Yeah.
I had a black Trapper Keeper. Yeah, like milky ones. And I had a black Trapper Keeper that was like cloth. And I made her write her name on my Trapper Keeper.
Oh.
So I could practice it. And I remembered, and I still know it to this day. If there's a will, there's a way. Figure that shit out, especially if it's somebody, I can see if it's somebody that you're just meeting, but if it's somebody that you have to see every fucking day, figure that shit out.
Like her classmates. You couldn't say Uzumaka? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I watched a fucking video on YouTube and got it. Like, cause
and it's a cool story to tell. It's a cool story to tell. It's like, oh yeah, I know this girl from this place, and she has a really cool name. It's Uzumaka. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when I hear an interesting last name, I immediately ask, like, where does that come from, or what does it mean? Or I'm interested in the history of it.
Yeah, it's cool.
To feel ashamed of it. You're like, you have to help.
I snatched my whole fucking camera down.
Sorry.
It's cool.
And again, an example of what D thinks you do to a titty. You just smack it.
Snatch that shit out.
If you guys are listening, D just slapped his fucking phone off the whatever it's on. Tumbled. Tippy tumbled.
Wow.
Tippy fucking tumbles.
But it's nice to know the three of us think alike on that. So how to be Black on that, right? You compassionate. Black people are compassionate.
Compassion, yeah.
We feel where other people are coming from.
Yeah.
Some people would say we're too compassionate and inclusive. You know, them Hotep people, they'd be like, nah, they ain't with that shit. They are the hardcore Blacks. I am not one of them, for anybody listening. I can't go that hard.
I think that in any version
BJ's one of them. Look at her earrings.
I'm one of them. Wearing my Ankh earrings. I did that on purpose today. And I will be wearing them every day for the February recordings. But like, to me, in any group of any kind, if you are an extremist, I feel like you've taken it too far. Whether it's Christianity, even if it's Black Lives Matter, if you take it to a level of I'm not including anybody else except for the people who only believe what this is in front of me, then you're already on the other side again. You're with the rest of them who are oppressing us. Yes. Because you're saying that we're not allowed to express who we are as a person, as an individual, and you want us to assimilate to your thought process instead of having our own. You know what I mean? Because that's what extremists do. And
then you're just being another group telling people of color, Black people in this case, that's what we're talking about, you're not blank enough. Here's something else, you're not enough. You're not Black enough now because we're deciding what that means. And I'm like, that's been a struggle for me since I left Okinawa, because I always joked that I didn't know I was Black, so I got back to the States. And I was like,
me too.
I was like, so I guess I'm a nigga. Like, what do I do? What do I do?
I guess I'm a nigga.
Like, man, listen, I was so confused.
I
I'm
was
like,
shook.
The schools are very much, and I was going to school in Missouri, so a lot of stuff seemed segregated, and I was like, okay. It definitely seems like Blacks are hanging with Blacks, and even when I would take the bus to go places, to take a bus and have the majority of the bus be Black, and then you get to a place where the majority of that whole city or town or school district is white. Right. That blew my mind. I'm like, oh, so if this small place in Chesterfield, Missouri is like this, there's probably, hella cities that are like bigger and worse than this. That shit blew my mind. So trying to figure out how to stay authentic to myself was my way of being Black. I'm like, I only know what I grew up seeing with my parents, and then all the inclusion and the culture and everything I got overseas. That's all I know. So when you guys are asking me like all this like extra Black shit, I'm like, sorry, I don't eat pig feet. Sorry, I don't eat it. I'm sorry, I don't want to listen to your mixtape. I'm so sorry.
Which is funny. I totally do, because we do that in Okinawa. I eat pig's feet.
I'm never going to be that Black.
Pig's feet.
It's a little bit too much cartilage for me now.
I used to get it off the ice cream truck. Pick with pig feet from the ice cream truck in southern, hot ass day in Southern California. My Black ass would walk up to an ice cream truck and pay 75 cents for a pickled pig foot, and we would skip around the neighborhood with my Mexican friends and sprinkle Lucas on my fucking pig foot. This is some crazy shit.
And
That's
you see, and that was the moment that made you gay. It was that stuff.
Sucking on pig feet.
I'm
It
dead.
was the big old pig feet.
Oh my God.
And skipping around.
I'm surprised that we don't have
Skipping
complaints
around
from our LGBTQ friends. Like, y'all are
That's
rude.
because they know us. That's because they know us.
That's
Oh man.
Oh my God. That's so
And there you have it.
That's what did it.
That's
Take
what
a big
make you
feet and you
have
start
it.
skipping.
That's what did it.
Oh, how do you guys feel about this? Because I know we're getting close to the end of our little recording.
Yes.
I thought about this just in the topic of Blackness. I get really triggered when people say that's ghetto.
Ooh, that's a good one. I
how do
saw
you-
that
Me too.
somewhere.
I'm triggered by that. But how do you guys feel?
Nine times out of 10, it's never really what I know of ghetto, because I've been in some real ass fucking ghetto.
And to be clear, because I know, sorry, I should have prefaced this. I know calling stuff ghetto right now is a hot thing because
it is.
Atlanta Housewives said "woo child to ghetto," so that's been a thing for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
So we're calling paying bills ghetto and stuff like that. I'm talking about when, and I think a lot of people of color listening have seen this or heard it, when it's someone who's not of color and let alone ain't been through no real struggle like that, and it's like, this place is ghetto, or they felt like they look ghetto because their outfit doesn't match. Like, oh, this is ghetto. And I'm just looking like, why would you say that?
Oh yeah, or her hair is ghetto, or
girl,
her makeup is ghetto, her nails is ghetto.
Shout out to someone, I won't put her name on blast, but she said it to me in the inbox. She was like, oh, you ghetto? And I was like, huh? And she was like, oh, you were eating the cereal. I said, eating cereal is ghetto? I don't understand. Now she's half black. So I'm like, I'm thinking, is this your wife coming out? Like, why would you, is this Amy? Why would you say that to me?
What did she mean? Did she clarify? I want to know.
She did not clarify, but I know we joke around a lot. So I know she didn't mean anything offensive, but I am extremely triggered by that phrase. So I'm like, just seeing your ghetto, I'm like, huh? For that?
And
now,
see,
had I put it in a plastic bag with the milk in the cereal like I used to do to get on the bus.
Okay.
That's ghetto.
You did that?
Oh yeah.
That's ghetto as fuck.
That's ghetto. I feel like
I'll give you that much,
when certain groups of people use the word ghetto that's not us, and they describe something to be ghetto, I feel like they're saying lower class. I feel like they're saying below average, like, ways of doing things. So, like, to me, that's just me. I don't know what your friend meant, but to me, if I had a comment in my inbox about me eating cereal, maybe she's saying that's ghetto for you to be eating on camera, but why? Because you think it's lower end for you to do something like that?
You must not watch our show like that, because this is just how we get down. This isn't like a professional thing where I was on, CNN and I was supposed to be, you know what I mean? That would have been.
But even then, will we show up with a bowl of cereal?
Right. I would have talked.
Then maybe we can have a conversation.
Like, Angie, can I do this? Can we do this right now while we talking?
Like, I mean, if I get on Ellen, I might bring Ellen a bowl of cereal with me. Like, you have a bowl, I'll have it, and I feel like Ellen would eat it with us. Like,
I think Ellen would eat that shit with us. Yes.
Yeah,
I feel like Oprah might look at us.
Oprah's gonna judge. She's gonna expect better from the black.
So to me, when I think about something being ghetto, to me, I instantly go to MacGyver mode. So when I see somebody MacGyver some shit together, I'm like, that's ghetto as fuck. Now, if you see somebody like MacGyver, somebody who looks like that,
right,
MacGyver something, they'll say, oh wow, that's like MacGyver.
Right.
If somebody like me,
right,
MacGyver something,
that's what I mean.
It's ghetto. You see what I'm saying?
So like,
it's all
don't they still say like nigger rig?
Yeah, nigger rigged. I say that all the time when I'm fixing cars parts that I don't really have anything for.
Like MacGyver, when I saw MacGyver, when I would watch it, I'm like, he is nigger rigging everything. To me, it was consistent.
Everything.
It's nigger rig. It's ghetto than the motherfucker. What he was doing was very ghetto, because that's what people in the ghetto do. Sometimes you don't have all the resources, so you nigger rig shit.
But see, and that's what I mean. Shit. Because the original term ghetto is a place, right? Where it was basically like the slums, and it has everything to do with the socioeconomic, like, lack of, like, nobody had money.
Didn't that originate?
So you figure it out.
Germany?
In Germany. It's actually from Germany. Like, I think I want to say, don't quote me on this, in like Anne Frank's diary, she actually calls her home in the ghetto. I want to say.
It's a Jewish I think it was like the Jewish tenements were called ghettos.
Right, and I
Yeah,
think that is
that's
stemmed
when I
from there
remember
too.
first learning it.
If
I
I'm
was
wrong,
like,
forgive
it
me, but that's
wasn't.
what I remember.
I think it's very but the thing is, like, that's what I was saying, like, with your friend, like, when people say ghetto, I feel like they're calling out people who don't have, like, money, or people who don't have, like, high class tendencies and things like that. And I feel like it's very condescending when they use
That's
it in that
probably
way.
why I get triggered by
It's
it.
very
Even when
condescending.
are talking about behavior. Like I overheard some girls talking at work, and one of them was like, "Yeah, I had to get all ghetto with so and so," and I'm thinking, so you think being assertive
Right.
is being all ghetto?
Right.
Like,
that's the problem I have.
No,
But see,
that's
but it's spread out in our society too. That's the problem, is that we took that word and ran with it the same way everybody else did, and now paying bills is ghetto.
Man, I made a post. I was like, "Sex is ghetto. Wouldn't recommend it."
Speaking of ghetto, because I want to say this because today's MLK Day. I want to know if anybody else noticed, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Are you the ghetto? Every ghetto, you're in the ghetto because it has an MLK Street.
MLK Street.
I know. Why do they do that?
And it's the way. Wait a minute. And it's the worst area.
Is it the way they make sure they know?
Not only do we have an MLK Street, we have an MLK statue.
See?
It's a big ass statue.
But here's the thing, though, isn't it in every like low income area or ghetto?
Yes.
And it's predominantly Black, right?
Yes. They don't put it. It's not. Yeah.
And it's crazy because I've never been in a predominantly white neighborhood and been like, all right, turn left on
MLK.
Yeah. MLK. Like that. It's never like that.
But okay, but here's my thing. Like, so why are they doing that? Is it for them to be able to pinpoint where those places are?
Possibly, because guess what? When I go to the east side, because my family, we kind of are from what we call north here in Las Vegas. Isn't necessarily north. It's more kind of east.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds ghetto.
Push toward like north and east. So I forgot which street it actually is. It's like either a number.
Mm-hmm.
No, the number streets are more Mexican. The letter streets are more Black here. So the number streets, yeah, it's like that. So on the, I want to say it's 20 something. It's Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez, who's did a lot of stuff for the Latino community in the United States, and they have a whole street named after him within that community. I'm not.
Right.
Maybe they're doing that to commemorate, his, contribution in that community, or if it's,
like,
I don't know
the MLK situation.
Well,
like,
I want to know.
It could be the
running
MLK
gag
situation.
with
So I
us
don't know.
is I've never been on a nice MLK drive.
That's what I'm saying.
I've never been on a nice Cesar Chavez, so it's like, what is it? You know what I'm saying?
It's always been in a scary ass place. So I get where PJ's conspiracy brain is working now. Now it's like, if we have a map and we actually like pinpoint all the MLK drives, does it like make an image?
I'm gonna look it up.
Some vortex? You know what I mean? Like,
you know what? If you guys are listening or watching and there is an MLK Street, Avenue, Boulevard in your city or your neighborhood, and it is like actually in a low income neighborhood or the ghetto, I want to know. Like, can you please let us know?
And if there's a Cesar Chavez or a Malcolm X, because I know there's one in New York. I don't know if there's some in other cities, but there is one in New York. I know for sure. I saw it. There's a Malcolm X Street, and I don't know if it's an actual street name or if it's commemorative, like the one here in Vegas for Cesar Chavez. So let us know, because we really want to see that shit.
Yeah. Like, I've always wondered that. And I've always told whoever I'm driving with, like, when I get to an MLK Street, I'm like, bruh, like, why? Why is this possible?
Because I don't ever see no streets in Chinatown named after all the Chinese brothers that was slaving over them railroads.
No.
They don't talk about that shit.
Came over here working
like a motherfucker.
Built on the dead bodies of so many But you know what? We're going to give them their own thing.
But because here's the thing. The problem that I have with that on the counter side is all the big highways are like Lyndon B. Johnson Highway, George Bush Highway, all the nice roads. Guess what?
They know what they're doing. I'm telling you, that's like a mental mind fuck shit. And people think you're crazy for noticing the subtle shit, but it's like, it's everywhere, basically saying if you are a white man or white period, you get to be up here and everything else is ghetto. Everything else is down there. And people be thinking we're crazy or overthinking it, but it's like, no. And this
I don't know. I
like,
think it's too many of the same shit over and over for it to be a coincidence. You know, I don't believe in that shit. I told you that today. I don't believe in coincidences at all. Anyway, any last words before we wrap this shit up and get on with our next portion?
Black people can be anything we want to be.
Yes.
I said what I said.
Do it.
We not talking about Justin no more.
Unless we get some serious fight.
I'm still gonna listen to the new album because I know it's gonna be fire. Because Man of the Woods was such shit.
Yeah, he gotta make up for that shit because I was ass.
I'm gonna give it a listen. I might even give it Man in the Woods a listen because I never actually listened to it. I just knew it was like trash from like. I just saw the album cover and I was like, nope, trash.
Yeah, you already know it's ass.
2 songs that were the best songs on the track. Higher and Montana you might like, but Higher and
I think I heard Montana. Did not like.
You didn't like Montana? Yeah. I loved it. I had not gonna lie, I had to listen to it like 8 times.
Maybe I had to listen to it again. I'll try.
Listening to Supplies though almost gave me ass cancer, so I had to stop.
D is holding his torch again, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Oh, you already know how to feel.
Just torch him. Oh my god. Just so you know, one of my favorite comments on our little tidbits that we're doing on Instagram
is that a blowtorch?
Is that a blowtorch? And you guys are stupid.
I like that. Shout out to Steve. He always listens.
That was my favorite thing.
He always listens. I believe you.
But well, on that note, if you're listening and love what you hear, try to subscribe to your podcast or platform or whatever you're listening to.
No, try to subscribe.
Do it. I'm sorry. Do it. Just do it. You'll learn all kinds of things.
And she's too polite.
No, not submissive.
No, he did that shit. He did it.
Done.
Do it too. Shit.
Okay, do it.
Push the button.
Do it.
Okay, push the button.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Also, just do it. Apparently.
Why did we go off like that?
Oh my god. Anyways, hope you guys have a blessed day. I'm gonna leave these niggas alone. They keep talking. I'm gonna go. See y'all later. Have a good day.